Let me tell you a story about With Fire, the Worgen Hunter, and the tragic end of his hunting career. A long time ago, in the city of Greymane, there lived a hunter and his dog, John Bain. They made good team, nothing could stand in their way. They frolicked in the fields, and mobs did they slay. They weren't all that great at poetry and stanza, but if you point it out here, you'll receive a banzer. But one day with fire awoke with a grin, wiping away some strange blood on his chin. He whistled for John Bain, but he didn't spawn. He looked all around, but John Bain was gone. With fire searched high and low, but to no avail, until suddenly he coughed and spat out a tail. Stricken with grief, With fire's expression was black, for John Bain had become his midnight snack. And so with fire, alone and distraught, all of his training and battles for naught, did take up John Bain's favourite bone, and make a promise that he would atone. He renounced his axe, his pet and his bow, his self-esteem at an all-time low. He pledged himself to defend all creatures, and so became a druid at the Gilneas teacher. And that, my friend, is where our story revives us, which kinda half rhymes with disastrous contrivance. You are listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuits. That is a absolutely 110% canon account of what exactly happened to With Fire, the unfortunate Worgen Druid. Yes, indeed. Sorry, the Worgen Hunter. He's now, with kittens, the Worgen Druid. So it's been changed. There's the lore. I'm very RP now. So I sent that through to Chris Metzen, and he literally fell over because he was unbelievably stunned by how amazing that piece of lore writing actually was. Absolutely unbelievable. Also, I am happy to say at the moment I have, in association with VTWProductions.com, I brought on another streaming server. So if you have friends that can't tune in, Mirror is up, ladies and gentlemen. I shall post that in here. The overflow, there we go. So if you can't tune in, no problem at all. Okay. So, my druid actually went through 3 hours of leveling up a druid for the sole reason that playing a hunter right now without a pet is awful! Oh, wow! The pain and suffering that will be inflicted on you if you decide to do that in the current state of the beta. Oh, wow. Bloody crazy, is it not? Oh well. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So, I put up a video of this, but I want to talk about this in more detail, because it brings up some interesting points. And the first of which is just how tough should the content be at that level. And, say, the second thing would be, what have they done which has changed the balance so much? Now, some people are asking, they ask this every week, and I think they don't quite think this through. No, the webcam isn't in sync with the audio, why would it be? Let's be honest, they're not plugged into each other, they're not the same thing, they're completely different websites. They're not going to be synced up, that's crazy. Alright. So here's what happened with the Hunter. At the moment, the Hunter can't keep a pet for any more than about 5 minutes. It's a beta and it's buggy, so that's totally and completely understandable. Eh? I'm not bashing Blizzard at all for having a buggy beta. In fact, I'm actually very happy they've got a buggy beta. Really. I am. And you want to know why? Because I am sick and tired of companies bringing out demo products and claiming it's a beta. Oh, you can get involved in the testing process, get involved in our community. You can provide awesome feedback, and this will be some kind of great community effort where the community and the gamers and the game company come together for some kind of giant ideas orgy. And you know what? It doesn't happen. It's garbage. None of this nonsense ever happens. You want to know what beta I'm in right now? Medal of Frickin' Honor. Oh, God. Why would they even release anything in this current state? I mean, seriously, it's so very bad. Oh, man. And we're not talking about something that is buggy. We're just talking about a game that is just bad. It's a demo. That's it. It is a freaking demo product. There's a lot of things that have done this. An awful lot of things. And a prime example, Settlers 7. All of that crap was still broken in the actual release. Medal of Honor, broken. Bad Company 2, at least they actually got some fixing done there. I don't expect anything to happen in between now and Medal of Honor launch. I don't. I think the multiplayer is going to be just as imbalanced and just as ridiculous as it currently is right now. Which is unfortunate because I pre-ordered it on the EA store. So my god, the single player better be good to justify that. Oh dear. That's a bad beta, because you know what? That's not a real beta at all. That's deceptive. That is deceiving people into believing that they're getting involved in a testing process. Now, why is that bad? Well, there's a few reasons. Firstly, they are deluded into thinking the problems with the game are actually to do with the beta, as opposed to flagrant design issues for something that's already locked in and most likely has gone gold. Like Medal of Honor. Again, we'll come back to this because it's a great recent example. Medal of Honor is a mess. And I can guarantee that when that multiplayer comes out, it's still going to suck. Because the design ideas and the philosophies behind that are just badly put together. They didn't think. In their desperation to make a Medal of... not so much a Medal of Honor, but a Call of Duty style thing. Something that is like, one-man army, blah, instant kill, pseudo-realistic... We're talking about precision... They call this genre precision shooters, yeah? Medal of Honor now is a good example. Stuff like Modern Warfare 2, good example. Bad Company 2, sort of. And Bad Company 2 is not so much a precision shooter. Honestly. But hey. That genre is really popular right now as a result of Modern Warfare. That means loads of people are trying to get into it. And you know what? Medal of Honor is just worse than Modern Warfare. It just is. I don't even like Modern Warfare, and I can see that there are far better design philosophies in play in Call of Duty Modern Warfare than there are in Medal of Honor. So I am so very happy that Blizzard are willing to make such massive sweeping changes and are actually willing to display the game. They're not insecure. Yeah? That's the thing. I think the companies that only show these tiny little demos of stuff like, right, what can we get finished in time for the beta? Yes, indeed, the beta, air quotes. What can we get finished in time for that? Well, I suppose we can get this level and these guns, and maybe that's about it. That's so bad, isn't it, when you think about it? That's great. You can show me about 5 to 10% of the game, and you're not going to use that to fix the rest of it, are you? Because it's just a... It's a bzzz. It's a bzzz. Sorry, I'm turning to Crichton over here. It's a red and blue striped golfing umbrella. It's the Bolivian Navy on maneuvers in the South Pacific. It's not a beta. Absolutely not a beta. And that's a big problem. Because people think it's a beta. And when the game comes out, and when they realize suddenly that, this was a demo, this was what they could get finished quick enough. And oh god, what the hell just happened? Why have I just bought this game on the basis of a glorified tech demo? This is no beta. So, when I talk about insecurity, I'm talking about the fact that Blizzard is willing to show something in a raw state and trust people not to go ballistic. And, of course, they'd be completely wrong in that trust, because people are dumb. Oh, no. Total Biscuit, you're so mean. Oh, boo-hoo. I watch my AdSense revenue tick as you cry over how mean I am on the internet. Oh, it's so mean. I have eggshell feelings. Oh, please. Grow the hell up and grow a goddamn spine while you're on with it. I wasn't aware that we had so many bloody invertebrates in the community of World of Warcraft. Apparently we do. That is the new alliance race. Squid. Octopus on a motorcycle. We called it years ago. And it turns out that's exactly what's going on. No spine, no backbone, no nothing. I'm so mean. Boo-hoo. cry me a frickin' river. And I should build an ark, and I'll take 2 of every class. And only the good ones, mind you. We're not going to take any rogues, we don't need them, we don't need any death knights. We'll bring mages, what else do I play? Mages, and I suppose you can bring the druid. Yeah, you can bring the druid. I'll bring 1 druid, just 1. But they can sort of count as everything anyway. That counts as 4, so they can be 4 different things. It's great. And I will ride on that river of tears. All the way to Success Land. Population me. And you will cry, and you will whine, and you will squeal. They're okay with putting something out there that isn't finished. And while they know their community is going to go ballistic over everything because they are dumb and ignorant and don't understand the concept of beta, think about it. I'm not going to blame the community just for being dumb across the board, because they're not. You know, there's plenty of very smart people within the WoW community, but what we're talking about is a community that has now seen how other companies do betas, which are in fact glorified marketing demos, and then when they see Blizzard do a real beta, which they have always done, I might add, StarCraft 2 beta, that was raw, man. It really was. That was raw when it first came out. And they did a lot of work to it. I'm looking forward to see what comes of that on Tuesday when it comes out. But yeah, that was raw. Wrath of the Lich King, TBC, the original WoW beta. I mean, that went on for ages. It went on for as long as they needed to. And they were willing to show something that was not working. Things that were broken. And for God's sake, even today, I told you about the mangle thing. The mangle thing's still there. And if you see in my latest video, the textures on my face disappeared and were replaced with the goblin. Now, I know that can happen in the live servers as well, but that was because when I logged in, all the textures on my face were flat. I had no face whatsoever. And obviously we had the whole disappearing face thing with the hat. There's loads of problems with the game. And you know what? That's fine, because the game's not out yet. And it's not close to being out yet. And they know this, and they're testing it, and they're getting everything sorted. Isn't that a good thing? And wow, the tangent. I'm fairly sure I started... How did I start off this segment? Yeah. I'm not off on that much of a tangent. I'll be alright. So. That's sort of the story of the Worgen Hunter starting zone. In a nutshell, beta is beta. Or beta is beta. Or more accurately, if I'm going to get my ancient Greek and my Latin right, Veta is Veta. Or Vita, whichever you prefer. Both of those work. As far as I'm aware. So, that zone is broken for hunters because hunters can't keep their pets out. So they can't tank the mobs and they can't deal with them in an effective manner. And more importantly, of course, you're in an enclosed space. I get a couple of trolls on my channel saying, oh, you suck as a hunter. It's like, well, you try this, for God's sake. You're in a room that's about 8 yards across with a bunch of things in the way, and you're expecting me to kite a mob when my minimum range is 5 yards. Are you serious? Especially when focus now regenerates so slowly that concussive shot is not an option to spam. You use 2 special shots, you're out of focus for the next 20 seconds. But it's interesting to note what happens when you suddenly take away a key part of the class. And just how carefully they seem to be balancing things. Because I went in there with a druid today, and that's in my latest video that you can watch after the show. Thank you. Unless you listen to the podcast, in which case, you can pause it. I will allow you to do so. You may leave my presence at once. They've just balanced it in such a way that you have to be playing and using the abilities that your class has in order to succeed. How reasonable is that? Totally reasonable. What it actually shows with that quest is, it's actually a really good quest. The one that I call the Quest from Hell is a genuinely good quest. Because it's unusual. It's not something you do all that often in WoW. It teaches you that not every situation can be solved by you running in there and killing everything. Which is good, because that is something you'll have to deal with later on. When you start doing group work, you will have to realize that you alone cannot beat everything. That's a great way to test it out. And honestly, I would like to see in the starting zone a group quest. I really would. For God's sake, do you not think there's enough players? A Worgen starting zone on launch is going to be ridiculous. It's already fairly well populated, and that's in a really limited beta period. What's so wrong with having a group quest in the starting zone to teach you the mechanics and just say, guys, seriously, pop-up, big pop-up, this is a group quest. It is very likely that you will not be able to take it. DDO did something like that. They called them extreme challenge dungeons. It means that a dungeon that you'd normally be able to do on your own on, say, casual or normal mode, you will require a group for. It's very clear about that, and it provides appropriate rewards, and you know what? It feels very epic, and I think that is the most important thing. Yes, I did just say, isn't that what questing is all about? Having a grand adventure. Now, by making some content a little bit too difficult to do solo, or by putting in a contrivance that allows you to do something that you wouldn't otherwise normally be able to do, you create a more epic feel. You get people more immersed, and you teach people valuable lessons about how the game's going to be in future. I don't want all our new players leveling up with the idea that everything is okay to do solo. One, it's not as fun. That's probably the most important thing. Group content should be encouraged because it's more enjoyable to play. Why do you think I'm such a big supporter of Recruit a Friend? It's such a better way to level up. It really is. You REF, and suddenly, hey, this is more interesting. I level faster. I've always got a friend with me. They could summon me. I could summon them. I get this 2-person rocket mount. Isn't that what MMOs are all about? Playing with other people and having fun with your friends. At the end of the day, I can talk all I want about competitive raiding, about PvP, about endgame content, about, oh, things are going to be hard and challenging, but every time, it's always got to come down to one basic, simple thing. All of that content relies on playing with other people, and a starting zone should encourage that from the very, very beginning. So, you've got these quests like the stealth quest. It's ideal because it teaches you can't kill everything on your own. And then you've got other quests that encourage groups that also say you can't kill everything on your own. That's a valuable lesson that everybody should learn. My name's been Total Biscuit, and you are listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com. In fact, it is still Total Biscuit. I'll come back after the break to run through the guild talents with you, or the perks, as it were, and look at the... Well, there are some complaints about it, let me put it that way. I'm going to deal with those. In the meantime, I am going to play you some music by the one and only Sabaton. This goes by the name of Coat of Arms. Enjoy.